As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's raining blood. Hallelujah. I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
On July 25th, 2001, a strange phenomenon occurred in Kerala, India. After a loud thunderclap and a flash of light, groves of trees shed shriveled burnt leaves, followed by at first small, yellow, green, and black droplets. From those came larger drops, blood red in color. For the next 10 days, the blood rain would fall, staining the clothes and panicking the minds of Kerala residents. Was it something in the sky? Pollution? An act of God? For the next 2 months, 110,000 pounds of crimson liquid would drop on Kerala, alerting the world of the puzzling, often shocking phenomenon that we're going to talk about today, blood rain. For centuries, reports of blood rain experienced all over the world led to sinister conclusions, literally, that the sky was spitting out blood. The earliest literary instance is in Homer's Iliad, where which Zeus twice caused a rain of blood, on one occasion to warn of a slaughter in a battle. Blood rains were considered bad omens in antiquity, through the Middle Ages and into the modern period, and a shower of blood was one of several indicators of the Black Plague in Germany. The phenomenon then gained exposure to a wide audience in Renaissance Europe, when it was used as an example of the power of God. In Europe, there were fewer than 30 recorded cases of blood rain in the 13th, 14th, and 15th centuries, but then amplified to 190 instances across the 16th and 17th centuries, and then back down to 43 cases at the end of the 17th century. But then those blood showers picked up again with 146 cases in the 19th century. In the early 2000s, blood rain is yet again in the public eye after incidents in Zamora, Spain, and Kerala, India. And finally, with scientific tools, and of course, some conspiracy theories, the public really wanted to pinpoint what this historic dark red rain actually was. Initially during the Kerala rains, the Center for Earth Science Studies suggested that an exploding meteor caused blood rain. A few days later, when the red rain continued to fall, they decided that that wasn't the case, as debris from a meteor would have naturally covered a wider area. Then they thought the weird colored rain was the result of a new spore. Spore, you say? Yes, a spore. More on this new spore after the break.
Hello everyone, what is up? It's Savannah Breimer here from the true crime podcast Killer Instinct. If you have a true crime obsession like me, Killer Instinct is the podcast for you. Join me every week as we dive into the wildest, most twisted true crime cases. Anything and everything from unsolved, solved, cold cases, missing persons cases, and serial killer cases. Each case will leave your head spinning, so make sure you pause what you're listening to right now, head over and subscribe, that way you never miss an episode. We post every Wednesday, and I can't wait to see you there.
In November of 2001, commissioned by the government of India's Department of Science and Technology, a report analyzed the raindrops, finding the pH of the rain being neutral, with large amounts of nickel, manganese, titanium, chromium, and copper. The red particles themselves were determined to be mostly carbon and oxygen, with small amounts of iron and silicon. The report concluded that this pH was a result of a new type of algal spore, algae related to the genus Trentifolia. Although usually red or orange, Trentifolia can contort into a chlorophyte green algae when grown in tree bark or damp soil and rocks, which was definitely the terrain of the area. Some cite a freshwater green microalgae as the culprit, called Haematococcus pulveriaris, I think I said that wrong, which produced red carotene pigment called astaxanthin when in a state of stress. Stress like getting caught in a rain cloud way up in the atmosphere. The report noted an absence of dust of meteoric, volcanic, or desert origin in the rainwater, concluding the colored rainwater was fairly pure. Heavy rains before the red rains could have caused the widespread growth of lichens and algae, which had given rise to a large concentration of these algae or microalgae in the atmosphere. So why did this lichen-filled spore present like a horror movie-style blood rain in this hypothesis? They really have no idea. Enter aliens. And not even with conspiracy theorists, with scientists. In 2003, Godfrey Lewis and A. Santhosh Kumar, two scientists at the Mahatma Gandhi University in Kottayam, Kerala, proposed that rather than dust, or microbes, or algae, the red particles appeared to be biological cells. They proposed that the particles may be microbes of extraterrestrial origin. Of course, piggybacking off of the meteor idea, this idea that extraterrestrial matter had somehow come from a meteor and had entered Earth's atmosphere and rained down bright red, blood-like rain didn't seem, after more investigation, so crazy. Now, there haven't been any blood rains since a couple other instances in India in 2007, so we don't have a lot to follow up any of this research or many of these hypotheses, but the push and pull between the origin of these blood rain spores, terrestrial or not, is a topic of conversation both in the scientific community and in, of course, our community for obvious reasons. The whole thing reads to me like a crazy biblical parable, or a horror movie, or maybe just the way our Earth reacts to biological or extraterrestrial anomalies.
This year, millions will be diagnosed with low energy. But Planet Fitness has the cure. Boost your energy with tons of equipment in our clean and spacious clubs for $1 down and $10 a month.
Join the judgment-free zone today. Deal extended to Wednesday, April 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Did you know that Disney World was originally meant to be a BioShock-style libertarian utopia, and that Walt Disney lobbied the Florida government to allow them to have their own creepy, independent government, which they still have to this day?
Or how about the fact that 90s school supply company Lisa Frank was run by violent, tyrannical drug addicts who abused their employees?
Well, did you know that there's a Japanese guy who killed and ate a woman in the 1970s, but due to a legal loophole was never put in prison and became a weird Japanese celebrity who wrote food reviews for magazines?
Well, actually, we did know all those things because we made episodes about all of them and many more on our podcast, Deep Cuts.
Deep Cuts is a deep dive explainer show that explores fascinating but true stories that you won't believe you've never heard about, with deeply researched, sometimes shocking, sometimes hilarious episodes.
The show is like a really juicy documentary for your ears mixed with Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Deep Cuts has new episodes every single Wednesday for free. Just pause the podcast you're currently listening to and go subscribe to Deep Cuts anywhere you get your podcasts.